So speaking about observation, one thing I found really interesting, and I want to hear your opinion about it, is the vampire. We're made to believe that he doesn't see race effectively, and I've seen Ryan Coogler say explicitly that he wanted to.
Sorry?
Yeah, well, exactly. Let's get into that. So basically, my
Sorry?
question, my
Sorry?
contention is basically, what are we supposed to believe about Remmick's views on race? Because we see that he's willing to adopt racism when it's to his benefit. So he knows that he's talking to the Ku Klux Klan when he gets into the couple's house, and he's willing to throw out racism and try and use it to entice this black community to join his cult. So it almost does imply that, yeah, he doesn't see race. He doesn't care either way. Or maybe he thinks it's stupid. I'm not sure. I don't know. What do you think?
Sorry, I'm still caught up on you saying that Ryan Coogler saying that Remmick doesn't see race. Excuse me?
Probably he didn't say bar for bar that he doesn't see race, but basically the point is he's not supposed to be viewed as a classic white American racist from this era. Do you think he actually believes in it? Right?
I see.
That's
like,
the
is he a racist?
Exactly. Is he someone who actually adopts this?
That question to me, you can put literally any white people in that situation, including white people that have done great things for black people. And I'll still think the answer is yes, of course he's a racist.
Even a 1,500-year-old Irish immigrant vampire?
100%. 100%. Right now, as we speak, the same Ireland that is doing a lot right now to stand up for Palestinian rights are also simultaneously doing all sorts of protests about how black people and immigrants are destroying their country at the same time right now.
Yeah.
People can exist in multitudes, and white people, I assure you, they're able to understand structural issues and still be anti-black at the same time.
So this gets into one of the reasons why, again, I didn't love this movie the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it and just thinking about the conversation it was making me have made me like it more. So for me, as someone who's of Caribbean origin, right, I really struggle with the specific conversation around Irish and Scottish people and their oppression, which is real, right? But I don't like the way how there's a tendency to almost equate that to black oppression, which I just don't think is on the same page at all. And what I found interesting is I wasn't sure about Ryan Coogler's position on this. So even when I was watching his interviews, it did seem that he wanted to draw these connections, but I do think you have to do that in a delicate way, because there are Irish and Scottish people who really feel like we shouldn't be allowed, especially as Caribbean people, right? A lot of us have Irish and Scottish DNA. So they almost feel like we shouldn't be able to talk about the fact that, yes, you guys were also oppressing our ancestors. We understand that you were operating within a English occupation, but there's still layers to it. And I'm not sure that this movie does a good job of actually unpacking that properly, but I'm willing to accept it because I guess that's for the audience to do, right? It's for the audience to make their own decisions. But I have seen some black people really standing on this, yeah, we're all in this together, we're all oppressed together. And for me, I'm just not there yet.
You know what this just reminded me of? A couple of years ago, I was in Barbados and we went to this beautiful nature park owned by this man. He was a white man. After we did our tour, I don't drink, but he poured our group some rum. He chatted with us. He was very friendly. I asked him, when did he first move to Barbados? When his family moved here? This man starts proudly revealing to me about how his Lily White's family has been in Barbados for generations, and how the reason he owns this plantation, and yes, he used that word, is just because of the work they did after they were initially brought in as servants. And I didn't get into it with him, but all I could think of was, isn't that interesting that your people were brought over here from what you're saying as servants, and now here you are now, you own this gigantic piece of land plantation, but the equivalent black people in Barbados cannot say the same.
Yeah. My family doesn't have a plantation.
So, how do you think the two things are the same? It was just very funny. So I just think that's an illustration of how people think something that is not exactly the same is the same.
And what I find interesting as well is I was really intrigued to see the response from people who are Irish or Irish descendants and what they think about this movie. And I was surprised to see that they were engaging with it in a positive way. I saw some people saying that they enjoyed seeing, folk songs on the big screen.
The thing is, for me though, I love everything that's done with Remmick so much. I love the Jack O'Connell casting. I love the music. that Ludwig Göransson made for the movie that was Irish. I
Mm-hmm.
love the design of Remmick's character, both in his human form and in his most demonic form. I love the way how he descends into looking more and more monstrous as the
Yeah.
movie goes on.
Yeah.
I love the various ways he manipulates people's culture to try and get at them.
Mm-hmm.
I found it actually quite a
Mm-hmm.
clever way of viewing how certain kinds of culturally aware white people can be dangerous. That
Mm-hmm.
scene where he's talking to Grace in Chinese about how he knows how she likes to be licked, we were shook in the theater when that moment happened.